Well, we will continue. Ang usapin natin ay human rights. Itong ating usapin are those declared by the United Nations of Human Rights, 30 articles. Bago natin ipagpatuloy ang articles 21 to 30. Of course, kanina or pinag-usapan natin yung the Cyrus cylinder that somehow started it. And of course, there are other documents asserting individual rights, such as the Magna Carta in 1215, the Petition of Right in 1628, the U.S. Constitution in 1787, the French Declaration of the Rights of Man and of the Citizen in 1789, and the U.S. Bill of Rights in 1791 are the written precursors to many of today's human rights documents. Diba? Sabi nga, Magna Carta or Great Charter was the most significant early influence on the extensive historical process that led to the rule of constitutional law today in the English-speaking world. So yon, ang 1215, di ba? The Magna Carta or the Great Charter signed by the King of England in 1215. After King John of England violated a number of ancient laws and customs by which England had been governed, his subjects forced him to sign the Magna Carta, which enumerates what later came to be thought as human rights. Yon ang literature, no? Among them was the right of the church to be free from governmental interference, the rights of all free citizens to own and inherit property, and to be protected from excessive taxes, na pag-usapan na yon. Establish the right of widows who own property to choose not to marry, and establish the principles of due process and equality before the law. It also contained provisions forbidding bribery and official misconduct. So, Magna Carta in 1215 was a crucial turning point in the struggle to establish freedom. Diba? So, yun. Napag-usapan, no? Nagumpisa doon din sa Magna Carta. Ngayon, pag-usapan natin ang other rights. Well, Article 21, the right to democracy. We all have the right to take part in the government of our country. Every grown-up should be allowed to choose their own leaders. Totoo kaya ito? In the Philippines, where vote buying seems to be the name of the game, I really do not know. But that is not what is meant here by the right to democracy. When we participate in government or governance for that matter, it also a requirement that the people should choose their leaders na leader na talagang leader, hindi yung binili ka. Article 22, Social Security. We all have the right to affordable housing, medicine, education, and child care, enough money to live on, and medical help if we are ill or old. Diba? Social Security. Ito ay karapatan. Yung mga senior citizen privilege part of the right to Social Security. Yung pabahay, that is an obligation of the state to provide housing, shelter, hospitals, to take care of our health. free education. That is part of the right of human being. Social security. Yun na nga, napag-usapan yung Petition of Right in 1628 by the English Parliament and sent to Charles I as a statement of civil liberties. Refusal by Parliament to finance the king's unpopular foreign policy had caused his government to exact forced loans and to quarter troops in subject houses as an economic measure. Arbitrary arrest and imprisonment for opposing these policies had produced in Parliament a violent hostility to Charles and to George Villiers, the Duke of Buckingham. The Petition of Right, initiated by Sir Edward Coke, was based upon earlier statutes and charters and asserted four principles. No taxes may be levied without consent of Parliament. No subject may be imprisoned without cause shown or reaffirmation of the right of habeas corpus. Di ba? Yun. And of course, no soldiers may be quartered upon the citizenry, and martial law may not be used in time of peace. Doon sa Petition of Right, doon din na pag-usapan yung mga karapatan. Di ba? Like yung workers' rights. Every grown-up has the right to do a job, to a fair wage for their work, and to join a trade union. Yung mga karapatan na pag-usapan doon sa Petition of Right, tapos na pag-usapan sa Bill of Rights ng United States of America. Workers' rights. Article 24. The right to play. Yon. We have the right to rest from work and relax. Ang ibig sabihin dito, you can have your own time, play, relax. Kaya nga sa ibang bansa or sa ating bansa, mayroon din tayong vacation leave. Mayroon din tayong mga dynamics na trainings, no, para relaxation. Or pag birthday mo, libre, holiday sa sarili mo. 25. Food and shelter for all. We all have the right to a good life. Mothers and children, people who are old, unemployed, or disabled, and all people have the right to be cared for. Ito ang karapatan na hindi masyadong nasunod, even in our country. Di ba? Kawawa, maraming kawawa. Mga wala silang pira. Dapat ang government will provide them free housing. Di ba? Yung mga matatanda, libre na sana. Well, there are LGUs na libre yung hospitalization sa ating bansa. Pag senior citizen ka, libre. Pero, libre na sigurong kabaong. Kasi, mamamatay ka rin, punta ka hospital. Walang medicine. Di ba? Walang bahay. Okay. Number 26 article. The right to education. Ito ang palaging pinagdebatian. Ang right to education. Education is a right. Primary school, basic education should be free. We should learn about the United Nations and how to get on with others. Our parents can choose what we learn. Di ba? So, dapat lahat na tao makapag-aral man lang sa basic education. Hayaan mo na lang yung college. Pero dito sa ating bansa, the right to education minsan, hindi na kapag-aral, walang pamasahe. Di ba? Kasi malayo yung school. Mayroon namang school, wala naman siya pagkain. Diba? Ang experience ko doon sa States, United States of America, libre ang pagkain sa mga bata. Sana. Well, for a while, nag-enjoy tayo ng Nutriban, panahon sa kay Ferdinand Marcos Sr., may Nutriban kasi pag-aaral yun noon ng United States na kulang tayo sa nutritious food. Okay? Article 27, copyright. Of course, copyright is a special law that protects one's own artistic creations and writings. Others cannot make copies without permission. We all have the right to our own way of life and to enjoy the good things that art, science, and learning brings. Of course, intellectual dishonesty, hindi tayo papayagan. Mayroon din tayong karapatan to protect our own writings, our own product. Yun ang ibig sabihin ng copyright. Article 28. Article 28 provides a fair and a free world. There must be proper order so we can all enjoy rights and freedoms in our country and all over the world. Fair. Diba? Sa Bisaya pa, patas. Kailangan equal na there is what you call fairness. And in the free world, that is a right. We have a right, Article 29, responsibility. Of course, we have a duty to other people. And we should protect their rights and freedoms. Mismo, diba? Yung Article 1 to 28, mga karapatan yun, pero mayroon din tayong obligasyon, ang responsibilidad na protektahan yung ibang tao na sa kanilang human rights. Then number 30, no one can take away your human rights. Walang taong makakuha sa karapatan mo. Ha? So, gentlemen and ladies, di ba initially sinabi natin na ang ibang mga basic sources that lead to what we are now enjoying, human rights. The United States Declaration of Independence in 1776. The United States Congress approved the Declaration of Independence. Its primary author, Thomas Jefferson, wrote the Declaration as a formal explanation why Congress had voted on July 2nd to declare independence from Great Britain more than a year after the outbreak of the American Revolutionary War. And as a statement announcing that the 13 American colonies were no longer part of a British Empire. As you well know, nagiging sakop yung ibang mga estado sa United States of America under Great Britain. So, sila'y umalis. Congress issued the Declaration of Independence in several forms. Diba? It was initially published as a printed broadsheet that was widely distributed and read to the public. Philosophically, the Declaration stressed two themes: individual rights and the right of revolution. These ideas became widely held by Americans and spread internationally as well, influencing in particular the French Revolution. Diba? So, yun. Napag even in the United States Declaration of Independence, napag-usapan din yung mga rights. Then, when they started writing in 1787, the Constitution of the United States of America, diba? It is the oldest written constitution now. The first 10 amendments of the United States Constitution, the Bill of Rights, came into effect on December 15, 1791, limiting the powers of the federal government of the United States and protecting the rights of all citizens, residents, and visitors in American territory. The Bill of Rights protects freedom of speech, freedom of religion, the right to keep and bear arms, the freedom of assembly, and the freedom to petition. So, these are all parts of the rights of the United States that eventually being considered in the 1948 United Nations Declaration of Human Rights. So these Articles 1 to 30, yon ang magiging guide sa mga free nations that indeed human beings like us is protected by human rights. Huwag kalimutan mag-subscribe sa ating channel.